So if we put it on a timeline, here we have past, present, and future. So if we're going to talk about this, so this is something what? Yes, this is something. Okay, will end here. So the first thing I will say that it will end. It will end here. That's the last point. When did it start? Yes, it started here and will end here. So it's taking time. And this thing is happening now. So it's something started in the past, ended in the future, and it's happening now and taking time. What's this? That's the present continuous. So talk about now actions or now things. Now we said that we have another example or another usage for the present continuous. He's playing football tomorrow at 8. He's playing football tomorrow at 8. So here it's talking about what? Here it's talking about future. Here it's not talking about now. Here it's talking about future. So can I use it for future? Yes, correct. I can use it for future. How? I can use it for future when I mention the future thing. Like for example, I say tomorrow at 8. Yes, I'm so sorry. Next week, next month, and so on. Okay? Okay, we're back. We had a small technical problem. So before we stop, we were talking about the present continuous. We said that the present continuous, the present progressive, is talking about now or the future. Very nice. So how can I know it's talking about the future? When I mention a future thing, a future keyword, like tomorrow, next week, next month, next Saturday, next Sunday. So as long as I'm mentioning like the future, that means it's talking about the future. But normally, when I use the present continuous, talks about now. Very nice. Something is happening now. Very nice. Now, let's go to next. Simple past. Okay. What is the simple past? Now, when I see the word past, okay, when I see the word past here, that means what? That means happened and ended. So past means happened and ended. Don't try to imagine things and as effect and no. When I see the word past, that means it happened and ended. Okay? Not anymore. It happened and ended in the past. So what is the past? That's a good question. Now let's try to give an example and explain on it. I played football yesterday. I played football yesterday. So what did I say here? So yes, yesterday here is the keyword for the past. Okay? So it's past. And it's a specific time. Very nice. So when I try to explain the past on the timeline here, we have past, present, and future. Again, so past, present, and future. Now, if we're talking about this action, now, so let's put it here, like this. So I played football yesterday, so it happened here, and ended here, in a specific time here, which is here is yesterday. I have a horrible handwriting. Okay, let's write it here by the computer here. Okay, so yesterday. So when I say here yesterday, so this is the point here, yesterday. Oh, it's easier. So, yesterday. So, I played football yesterday, that means I've done something happened in the past, ended in the past, okay, and in a specific time. So, let's say, for example, I played football yesterday at 8 in a specific time. Now, so that's a simple past. Happened ended in a specific time. Now, let's go next. Past continuous. Past continuous. Again, we have the word past. That means what? Happened and ended. No rules, no like imagination rules, that the rules that we have in all of our Arab society, that we actually create rules to speak English. That's not correct. All the rules that we've created to make it easier for us, they don't exist in English. So we don't create a rule that does not exist. Okay, so try to think about the rule, the original rule, the correct rule. So if we're talking about it, so I say it like this. Past continuous is like this. I was playing football yesterday. Okay? Now I was playing football yesterday. So what's that? Okay. Isn't it the same thing? Both of them are past? Yes, actually, both of them are past. But we have a thing here. What's that thing? Okay. So we have it like here. Like, it's something that's the past. So it happened here. And ended here. This is the past area. The past area. So it happened here, ended here, but the difference is what? It took time. Okay, it's here. It took time here. Like it took time in the past. That's what I want to tell you. It took time in the past. Now what do we notice about here and here? We have here continuous. And here as well we have continuous. Now, what do we understand when we see the word continuous in a tense? Now, when we see the word continuous in a tense, we understand two things. The first thing about continuous verb to be plus a gerund. If I have the word continuous, I have to have verb to be and I have to have a gerund. No chance. No chance to have something else. Just like this. Verb to be plus a gerund. The second thing you understand, is the time. When I talk about continuous, that means it's talking about an action is going to take time, took time, is taking time. So the time. So time here is very important. Now here, when we talk about the time, that means it's something happening and taking, consuming time from my precious time, okay? So that's the idea. So verb to be plus a gerund and the time. That's the word continuous. Continuous in the past, continuous in the future, continuous in the present, continuous anywhere. So when I mention the word continuous, I have to mention those two. Verb to be plus a gerund, I have to make sure of this. The second thing, the time. It's talking about the period of time here. So there is a period of time that we need to mention in that thing, in that sentence. Or there is a period of time we need to understand. When I say I'm teaching, for example, I'm teaching. Okay, so did I finish? No, I will finish in the future. And I started in the past. So I'm taking time now. How about tomorrow? I will be teaching. I will be teaching tomorrow. That means tomorrow I'll have time. I'm going to consume it in teaching. Very nice. Now let's go for another thing. I was teaching yesterday. I was teaching yesterday. So that's what? Very nice. That's an action. Happened. In the past, it took time in the past. Okay? Thank you. Let's go next. Okay, I'm trying to split. Now let's go to the next screen. Present perfect. But let's not use it here. Let's talk about future simple. Now future simple, I'll talk about two cases. We have lots of cases. We have shall and we have will and going to and so on. I'll talk about going to and will. That's all I'm going to talk about, not to confuse you more. Now, so if we're going to talk about a future simple, so future, see the word future, that means it will happen, didn't happen yet. So let's give two examples. I will travel to Paris next week. I'm going to travel to Paris excuse me. Okay, so I will travel to Paris next week. I'm going to travel to Paris next week. I'm traveling. Now, what are the differences? I will travel to Paris next week. I'm going to travel to Paris next week. So what are the differences between these two sentences? So let's focus on this. I will travel to Paris. That means what? I took the decision. I have the intention, but it's still a maybe. So it's still a maybe. It's not set yet. I'll travel to Paris next week. That means I took the intention. I took the decision. I'm going to do it, That's the thing. But it's still a maybe. Might something happen, come up, and I don't travel. Now, the second one is different. The second one is talking about what? Talking about, very nice. Talking about a plan. Very nice. So, plan. What do I mean by plan? That means I have a plan to travel. That means I have the ticket, I have the luggage, and I have everything that can help me or I will use in traveling. So that means I'm going to travel. That's for sure. Okay? So, nothing will prevent me from traveling. That will lead us to something else. Remember when we talked about this tense? We said can be used for the future. Very nice. So, I can say here like this. I'm traveling to Paris next week. I'm traveling to Paris next week. So those two are equal. I'm going to travel to Paris next week. I'm traveling to Paris next week. Both of them are equal. Both of them, they mean the same thing, and I can change between them. Now, when to use like the continuous? It's an easy way of using future. To use this or to use this, both are correct. Both are going to be acceptable and both are correct. Okay? But to use this one or to use this one, it does not matter. Okay? So that's for the future simple. Now let's go to next. The last one. The present perfect. We have here the present perfect. Okay. Now let's think about it like this. Now, present perfect talks about what? Good question. Let me think. Talks about, we said we never say without an example. So let's give an example. I've eaten sushi before. Yes. Okay. So I've eaten sushi before. What do I understand from this sentence? What's the tense? That's the thing I have to answer. So what's the tense here? So if I thought about it, I've eaten sushi before, that means it's past. I have a question here. How about when I say, I ate sushi? We said with the simple past, I use a definite time. So I ate sushi yesterday. So yesterday here, I'm talking about past. Very nice. So, and I give the definite time, I define the time. a specific time, okay? So this is the idea here. So I've eaten sushi before, I ate sushi before, so the difference here between both of them, so what's the difference? Time. So the difference here is in the time. In here, I have a time. In here, I don't have a time. Okay? So in here, I have a time, which is yesterday. In here, I don't have a time. It's not here, okay? I don't have a time. I don't know when did you eat sushi. But you actually want to deliver another point here. Something happened in the past still has an effect on me now. Meaning, if I said I ate you sushi yesterday, is there an effect? No. I've eaten sushi before. Is there an effect? Yes, that means I know the taste of sushi. To clarify the same thing here, I've eaten my lunch. I've eaten my lunch. Now what's the effect here? Not hungry. Okay? Not hungry. So that's the effect here. And I have to mention something. I don't mention the time, so no time. I don't mention the time. Why? Because when I use the present perfect, I don't care for the time. I don't care for your time. I don't care for time that you ate sushi in or whatever. I care for one thing. For the action itself. That you've eaten sushi. That means what? Very nice. That means you know the taste of sushi. I've eaten my lunch. So I care for the effect. What's the effect? That you're not hungry. Like for example, let's give you this example. My friend is offering me food, so I say, thank you very much. I've eaten my lunch. That means I'm not hungry. Very nice. So I'm answering, I'm not hungry. You understand? So something happened in the past still has an effect. Now what's the second case? I've met Muhammad this morning. I've met Muhammad this morning. Now, we have to mention something here. What's this? Time. Why did I mention the time? We said in the present perfect, because we have here and past participle. We don't mention the time, because it's something I don't care for the time for. But when I mention the time, that means what? When I mention the time in the present perfect, that means it's very nice. It's recent. What do I mean by recent? Recent, it's not very old. So here, stick with this. Make it like, not a rule for yourself, but 24 hours. Any 24 hours. Any 24 hours. 24 hours. You can mention the recent action using yes, using the present yes, the present perfect. Okay? So this was a quick recap on the grammatical parts to understand it. As we said before, we understand grammar, we don't? Very nice. We don't memorize grammar. Why don't we memorize grammar? I'll tell you. Now when we memorize grammar, we will memorize rules. But where is like how to apply these rules? That's the question. Okay, how to apply these rules? This is the important question you need to ask. So if we're talking about this, like, okay, I know the rule of the simple past, but I don't know how to use it. Now I know. So here I know that the simple, I know that the simple past is something happened in the past in a specific time and ended in the past. That's simple past. Okay, what's the difference between simple past and present perfect? Easy. Simple past has a definite time. Present perfect doesn't have a time. I don't mention the time. It's not important. The second thing, actually, past simple talk about something happened and ended in the past. Present perfect talk about something happened, ended, but still has an effect. Very nice on the present time. Present simple. What's the present simple? Okay, present simple talks about one of two things. Facts or habits. Very nice. Facts, the things I cannot change. Habits are what? My habits. Okay, my daily habits, daily routine and other things. Okay, like for example, I ask you this question. Tell me about your daily routines. Tell me about your daily routine. I wake up at 8. I go home at, I go to work at 10. I finish work at 9, 10, 9, yeah. Finish work at 9 p.m. I go home at 11. I eat my lunch, or actually here dinner, and I go home. I go to bed and sleep. That's my daily routine. That's one of the things. Now present continuous. Present continuous talks about now or, very nice, a future. Now it's like this. I'm teaching now. So I'm teaching. So something's happening now. Something's happening now. How about future? Future simple. Have, will, going to, or the present continuous. Going to and present continuous are equal. Very nice. Well, what's the difference between well and going to? Well, it's for, very nice, it's for a maybe plan. I took the decision, I have the intention, but it's still a maybe. And how about going to? No, going to, that means I'm sure. I'm positive that I will travel tomorrow. Okay? Okay. Hello and welcome back from the prayer. Okay, before we go to the prayer, before we go to the prayer, we were talking about tenses. We were explaining tenses, and now we understand what are the tenses and how to use them. Okay? Now, let's do this. Let's go next. Okay, so let's go next. Okay, we have a conversation here. Let's listen to this conversation. This conversation is taken from like a syllables called four corners. Let's listen to this conversation.
Hey, Jim. Catching up on the news? Oh, hi, Carl. Yeah, I like to know what's going on in the world. I feel exactly the same way. Do you read the paper every day? Every day. It's the best way to get the news. Really? I don't know about that. I get all my news online. I check the news several times a day, so I always know what's happening. Online news is okay, but I prefer reading an actual newspaper. So, what are the latest headlines online, right now? Let's see. Oh no, I can't get online. I guess there's no wireless signal here. Say, would you mind sharing your paper? No problem. Lesson. Catching up.
Okay, let's listen again.
Hey, Jim. Catching up on the news? Oh, hi, Carl. Yeah, I like to know what's going on in the world. I feel exactly the same way. Do you read the paper every day? Every day. It's the best way to get the news. Really? I don't know about that. I get all my news online. I check the news several times a day, so I always know what's happening. Online news is okay, but I prefer reading an actual newspaper. So, what are the latest headlines online right now? Let's see. Oh no, I can't get online. I guess there's no wireless signal here. Say, would you mind sharing your paper? No problem.